PNG and Australia decide on the future of asylum seekers. Multi-million kina tidal basin to open tomorrow. PNG's poultry industry in danger of collapsing.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
A very good evening to you. This is Tuesday's news and thanks for joining us. A joint communique released yesterday after the 23rd PNG Australia Ministerial Forum in Port Moresby says the asylum seekers who don't apply for refugee status will not be allowed to remain in PNG. Senior ministers of both governments decided on the arrangement in closed-door meetings yesterday. The document also highlighted the progress PNG has made concerning final refugee determinations for 50 refugees.
A media conference was held late yesterday afternoon by the Ministerial Forum co-chairs Rimbing Pato, PNG's Minister for Foreign Affairs and Immigration, and Julie Bishop, Australia's Minister for Foreign Affairs. Among the discussions was PNG's role in combating people smuggling in the region, particularly in implementing the Regional Resettlement Agreement.
That I have approved of to 50 persons who have been determined as genuine refugees for settlement purposes.
Effectively, the 50 genuine refugees will be moved to the East Lorengau facility, which will prepare them for integration into society once a policy framework is developed.
That policy framework has not yet been finalized, but the process has begun.
Ministers agreed that the Regional Resettlement Agreement will be reviewed, but until then, the agreement will remain in effect. On another matter, PNG reiterated its request for Australia to provide visa on arrival facility for Papua New Guineans. In the meantime, there is progress on finalizing arrangements to bring a work and holiday visa into effect.
There is some delay on our part, but we're going to finalize all the paperwork so that there is speeding of Papua New Guinean seasonal workers, holiday workers in different parts of Australia, which we've not been able to do it quick enough. So now we realize that we've got to address them.
The new visa will allow up to 100 Australians and 100 PNG young adults aged between 18 and 30 per year to enjoy a working holiday in the other country for up to 12 months. The Ministerial Forum is seen as an important mechanism to focus on key, current and strategic issues in the bilateral relationship.
I'm looking forward to working closely with Foreign Minister Pato and Minister Abel in ensuring that the overseas development assistance that Australia provides to PNG each year aligns with the national interests of PNG and the interests of Australia.
The next Ministerial Forum will be held in Australia in 2015. Delhi Bagu, National EMTV News.
The Ministerial Forum also discussed the PNG government's ongoing commitment to implementing the Bougainville Peace Agreement. Ministers also acknowledged the ongoing capacity building assistance to the Bougainville Public Service and service delivery.
We want to build health centers, we want to build bridges, we want to build hospitals, we've just rebuilt the airport. So everything else comes based on developing prosperity, security, peace for the people of Bougainville. So
I'm delighted to see the level of engagement between the PNG government and the ABG, particularly as a result of Prime Minister O'Neill and Minister Abel's recent visits.
The first phase of the multi-million kina Leh tidal basin project in the Morobe province will be opened tomorrow. The port development cost the national government over 700 million kina to build in a span of 24 months. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill will officiate at the opening ceremony tomorrow. MTV's Edwin Fidelis reports from Leh City.
The Leh Tidal Basin project is far beyond the largest economic project that is currently under construction in Leh. More than 10,000 tons of steel and over 180,000 cubic meters of concrete have been used for the construction. Tomorrow, the first phase of the project will be opened that took almost 2 years to complete. The Leh Tidal Basin project was dug out on this piece of land that once used to be large hunting and fishing grounds for the Labutale people. Over a hectare of seabed has been dredged. In 2012, the landowners blocked off the construction site and demanded the government to listen to them. China Harbour Engineering Company is responsible for the construction, and there's a lot to build. The Leh Port development will be an important facility to the country's economy, providing adequate berthing facilities for shipping vessels. In light of the mineral and mining exploration in the highlands, the port will be a key player in their developments. Their supplies will land here first before it's transported inland. Tomorrow will mark the official opening of the first phase of the project, with the second phase still under construction. Now, over the last 2 years, the national government has put in more than 700 million kina into developing the project. When completed, it will be the largest port in the South Pacific. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Leh.
The weak protection of our borders is posing a huge threat to smallholder poultry farmers in PNG. This concern was raised recently by the Poultry Industry Association. If imports from Australia chicken meat and eggs bring in diseases into the country, this SME stands to lose 400 million kina.
Since 2011, the Poultry Industry Association has raised concerns that the importing of fresh chicken meat and eggs from Australia is placing our poultry industry at a high risk. The poultry industry in PNG is made up of 2 commercial heavies, Zenag and New Guinea table birds, and over 40,000 smallholder farmers. It is the smallholder farmers whose SME is conservatively worth at 400 million kina that will be devastated should a poultry disease were to enter the country through these imports.
We have a look at the Poultry Industry Association's issues. To resolve those, they don't require a lot of money. It requires common sense leadership. It requires acknowledgement that a problem exists. It requires an acknowledgement that the poultry industry is significant in Papua New Guinea. I mean, we're talking about 1 in 4 households are engaged in some form of commercial poultry production. We're talking about an SME sector which has grown at a rate of 14.5% per annum over the last 5 years.
In 2013, the avian influenza, or more commonly known bird flu, hit Australia, devastating its poultry industry. In direct response to this outbreak, 40 countries closed their borders to any poultry imports from Australia. However, for PNG, it was business as usual, as we continued our imports of poultry products from Australia. The National Agriculture Quarantine and Inspection Authority, whose prime responsibility is to protect PNG from foreign diseases, have said in a review that they are aware of the risk this poses and will manage the disease should it happen. This is not going down well with poultry industry people. The threat of the disease is not the only problem facing the industry. Smallholder farmers are losing business due to these cheap imports from Australia.
Bagrabe may come up because kangaroo vulnerable country come inside, and I'm killing the kangaroo blumbi, table birds. Also, so me like him. This government please me, beg him must stop him.
What the PIA is demanding is that Nakia should establish a protocol that carefully outlines steps that should be taken when importing poultry products. The Chief Secretary, Semana Supezurano, is aware of the threat to this industry and together with a national working group will oversee a review into this matter. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Marabe fishermen call for more support as Leh City moves towards a state of prominence as the tuna capital. That story and more after the break. Good to have you back with the news. Fishermen on the coast of Marabe province say they need more support to generate income from their catch. It comes as Leh City moves toward being the tuna capital of the South Pacific with multi-million kina tuna processing plants. Whilst the content of provincial coffers will increase, local fishermen say they also want to participate.
The fisheries industry in the Marabe province is taking off. In the next 5 years, new wharves and factories will be built to cater for 7 multi-million kina processing facilities. But those who should benefit from the development say they want more participation.
drop em ya semi gat na lo atum site em no gat. Bumi pla lo laina go dano sim lo labu ya. Em when the ceremony no gat. Because sem obero morobe.
Guta Sowara, a local fisherman from the Morobe Patrol Post, lives on this banana boat on the DCA beach. He lives on his boat and catches fish. He competes with bigger vessels from fishing companies. But those managing local fisheries are creating the means for more local fishermen participation.
The Morobe Fisheries Management Authority is pursuing two types of fisheries development in the province.
Weti Zozingao, the Provincial Services Fisheries Manager, explains that more steps have been taken to ensure that local fishermen sell their catch to the local market.
The intention is to ensure that they become the fishing capital of the Pacific and possibly the world, the tuna capital of the world.
Say like now we play thinking no make him one outlet along main market Malay. That when the fishermen come in here, we have a market there so that we can access that market and get the fish sold, and then we can sell that fish into to the public in May.
Provincial Fisheries Chairman Philomen Tomala and LLG President of Coastal Area Salamoa is also calling for more support.
Province we play got big community Lay. We need to bring that fish to the market so that people in Lay can have that fish from the local fishermen here.
Morobe waters contribute to PNG's raw value of catch that has totaled 1.5 billion kina. Lay hosts most of the country's biggest canneries, and there are new developments. The new $38 million Majestic Seafood Factory that will provide 5,000 new jobs. But with all the fisheries development happening in one of the country's biggest and diverse provinces, local fishermen are still struggling to put money into their pockets. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News, Lay.
The Supreme Court will make a decision next year on whether an election petition case against NCD Governor Powis Parkup will be reheard. This comes after petitioner Michael Kandiu had his case dismissed by the National Court. Kandiu sought a review of the National Court decision, but its validity has been challenged by Parkup.
NCD Governor Powis Parkup emerged from the courtroom. He was greeted by eager supporters who wanted to know the outcome of the case. The court in this morning's session had that there were 3 discrepancies in the review submission.
So one something only no be me house only put him date good na two only saving me there's la court paper blown all saving office here. Now office me no court office for governor I no stable election petition or office for chairman or office for member blown NCD no stable petition and me stable petition so also supposed to saving me.
Applicant petitioner and businessman Michael Kandiu shortly came out to an awaiting crowd of supporters. He didn't look too pleased but told his supporters there was hope.
Postco's lawyer filed 3 issues in relation to the date and the service and the competency of the statement that we filed.
If we come by 26, they're saying that then service we would have served them outside of the 14 days. So we're saying that we go by the office of the police 27, so the service is still within time.
After almost 3 hours in court, the 3-man bench comprising Justice Catherine Davani, Justice Eric Carrico and Justice Peter Toliken had both petitions through lawyers representing Governor Parkup and Mr. Kandiu. They adjourned the matter to February next year for a final ruling on the competency application. Bridget Komatep, National MTV News.
Kerema General Hospital in Gulf Province is seeing an average of 20 tuberculosis patients per day. That number has been growing in the past 5 months. Chief Executive of Kerema Hospital, Moses Uvaipi, says the disease is endemic and the hospital is trying its best to keep up with the alarming rates.
This temporary building in front of the Kerema Hospital is currently serving as a TB outpatient for consultations. It is small in size but has served over 2,000 cases since July this year. No proper reporting and TB facility has seen increasing cases and to some stages patients becoming resistant to drugs.
We've detected about 5 MRD-TB, meaning that drug-resistant, multi-drug resistant TB.
Since July, Doctors Without Borders have stationed in the province to help treat TB patients. Medical referent of the Kerema TB project, Miriam Arago, says the rate is alarming and many factors are also to be blamed for patients not seeking treatment soon enough.
More or less we are seeing around 20 consultations per day. Up to the moment we've seen more than 2,000 consultations. This is a lot for only Kerema.
The current fight against TB has prompted for the construction of a TB ward at the Kerema Hospital, which groundwork will commence early next year. Meanwhile, Doctors Without Borders will extend their services to other districts in Gulf through a partnership with the National Department of Health.
We are planning to stay here 5 years to implement the Achieve TB program.
9 expatriates and 25 local staff are currently driving the TB fight in Gulf. The Australian government has also cautioned border crossovers to Western and Gulf provinces with the rise in these cases. Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
Chief Executive of Water PNG, Rakataviri Jr., says more funding is needed for the completion of the last 2 phases of the Kerema Water Project. He made this statement at the commissioning of the first phase of the Kerema Water Project yesterday. MTV's Jack Lapave Jr. reports.
Kerema town residents have been depending on rainwater for the past 30 years since colonial administration. These have seen services like health, education and even businesses struggling. But all that is about to change as the Gulf Provincial Government and Water PNG open up dialogue to build a new water system.
It took Gulf administration, Gulf politicians to realize the fact the water is very, very important.
The commissioning of the first phase is just a step in providing that service. But funding is now a struggle for the government entity since receiving a directive from IPBC through the Public Enterprise and State Investment Minister to forge partnership and drive projects forward.
We will start the next phase 2 and phase 3 only if there is money in our coffers. Funding is key to getting the project to completion.
The second phase of the Kerema Water Project includes placing additional bores to increase water supply. The third phase is supplying water from a river, which is much costly.
But stage 3 is going to be quite costly. So again, it's resources. It's funding, it's the people, partnerships, things of that nature that bring it all together.
A treatment plant and a reserve tank have been established in the center of the town to supply water at a minimal rate. However, the completion of the next 2 stages is important to cater for future developments. The Gulf Provincial Government allocated 500,000 kina earlier this year for that project. Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
CPL has invested 20 million kina in its business operations so far in Papua New Guinea and is set to continue into the future. Company Chairman Mahesh Patel revealed this yesterday during the opening of its second branch of Stop and Shop Express outlet in downtown Port Moresby. CPL has a combined retail operation of 56 stores nationwide, which employs almost 3,000 people, most of them Papua New Guineans.
This year would have been close to almost 20 million because of the large investments, but what we're doing is we continuously, like this one, we've got a refurbishment plan over the years because as the older farms, especially the ones that started some years back, needs refurbishment. So I think next year we've got a capital expenditure program of almost 15 million, and that's just to upgrade our current stores. If new stores come up, that's additional money.
And now we check out the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.388 in the interbank market. And at Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3805, $0.4595 Australian dollars, $0.3024 euro, and 44.4 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee closed higher, gold, cocoa, and copper closed lower. Palm oil closed higher, while crude oil and copper closed the day lower. And lastly, on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 416 points lower, The ASX closed at 67 points lower and the All Ordinaries closed at 65 points lower. You're watching National EMTV News. Madang Police prepare for the festive season with a strong warning to troublemakers. That's coming up next after the break. Stay with us. Thanks for your company and welcome back to the news. Madang residents have been urged to celebrate responsibly during the Christmas and New Year period. Provincial Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Sylvester Cullout made this appeal prior to their police festive season operations. Over 200 police personnel will be deployed in this operation, which will start on Thursday. EMTV's Sylvester Gawi has this report.
The once peaceful town of Madang has been on the news headlines in recent months for petty crimes, alcohol and drug-related problems. During Christmas and New Year period, police will be beefing up operations throughout Madang town, including its outside districts. This is to ensure residents celebrate and enjoy Christmas in its true meaning. In the last 6 months, criminal activities have escalated in the heart of the township and residents have raised concerns about their safety. Petty crimes from bag snatching, pickpocketing and public assaults have painted a bad image of the tourist center.
PPC Chief Superintendent Sylvester Cullout says police will be conducting foot patrols at streets and major shopping areas in Madang town to ensure people move around safely. Police will also be setting up roadblocks at major highways leading into Madang town to ensure that drivers are sober and traffic rules are being followed. Homebrew and marijuana production and consumption will be closely monitored and those caught will face the full brunt of the law. Similar police operations will also be carried out here in Lae City. Metropolitan Superintendent for Lae, Ivan Lankatani, says police operations will begin later this week and has called for public support. Sylvester Gawi, National EMTV News, Lae.
The Health Department, in partnership with Colgate-Palmolive, is embarking on carrying out an oral healthcare program in the country. Focusing mainly on addressing cavity, the program will be regulated in schools and health clinics. UPNG journalism student Eric Harukma reports.
The organization says that cavity or tooth decay is a chronic disease around the world. About 9 out of 10 people suffer from cavities. PNG's chief dentist and oral surgeon, Matup Apayo, said the department has played a central role in addressing this issue by facilitating anti-cavity campaigns in schools and clinics to help fight against this disease.
And health promotion activities through the department. And this message we want to take out to the people, the population in this country, that they have to maintain oral health and maintain good mouth for a lot of activities that the mouth does. Very importantly, chewing, eating, smiling.
Dr. Apayo said in PNG, about 3 out of every 10 people have been diagnosed with cavities. Many are children between the ages of 5 to 12 years old. Cavity is formed from chewing sugary foods. It has the potential of causing mouth cancer if not being treated. The health department is now partnering Colgate-Palmolive to educate people on the health aspects of maintaining good and healthy teeth. It is through school awareness, oral health clinics and media that mass awareness will be done to educate people in the rural areas.
Cavities are the most widespread disease in the world, but they're also the most easily preventable disease in the world as well. And it simply comes about by using the right toothpaste and brushing your teeth twice a day, every day, for strong and healthy teeth.
Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
Turning overseas now, 3 people were killed, including the gunman following yesterday's siege in Sydney. 2 others were part of the hostages held for more than 17 hours before they were rescued in the early hours of this morning. Hundreds of city residents have laid flowers at the site, which was also visited by Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott this afternoon. Investigations are ongoing into the terror attack in Australia, but authorities believe the gunman, a self-styled Islamic leader, acted alone.
Braced, even after all those hours, the police assault team on a knife edge. The flash of a muzzle-mounted spotlight.
Here we go. Guys.
Then more hostages making a run for freedom. It's followed by mayhem. Blasts of shotguns, smashing at one door, another blown open. Officers pouring into the cafe. As a barrage of stun grenades and gunfire exploded. The next 38 seconds would see success and tragedy. The death of the gunman, self-proclaimed Muslim cleric Man Haron Monis, an outcast within his own religion, shot dead by police. But the loss of two innocent Sydney lives, the 34-year-old manager of the Lint Cafe, Tori Johnson, and mother of three, 38-year-old barrister Katrina Dawson. In the chaos, there were other casualties. 4 people stretchered or carried out, injured but alive. The hellish end of the siege was forced on the police. They said they had no intention of storming the cafe, but that all changed with the pull of a trigger.
There was a number of gunshots that were heard, which caused officers to move straight to what we call an EA, an emergency action plan, and that caused them to enter.
Bystanders, unable to drag themselves away, witnessed the extraordinary scenes.
We heard more gunshots happening and all the police ran straight in and it looked pretty scary, but yeah.
It's very surreal and it's very shocking and I'm very disheartened with the whole situation, unfortunately.
The blast echoed around the streets, sending a shudder through a nearby court building where the families of the hostages were waiting, among them Tori Johnson's father. His friends and colleagues today paid tribute.
Tori was an amazing man. We're all deeply saddened.
He really did love serving customers and he loved hospitality.
The other victim, Katrina Dawson, a mother with 3 children under the age of 10, is believed to have suffered a cardiac arrest on her way to hospital. Her brother, a fellow barrister, and father this morning were too shattered to speak publicly. But at a memorial service in St Mary's Cathedral, Archbishop Anthony Fisher revealed how Katrina showed incredible bravery in the last moments of her life.
Reports have also emerged that Katrina Dawson was shielding her pregnant friend from gunfire. These heroes were willing to lay down their lives so others might live.
As you start to see the stories unfold of the victims whose lives had been lost, it is hard not for our heart to become a little heavier. Young Australians with a huge future.
The legal fraternity today honoured her, saying Katrina was one of our best and brightest barristers, who will be greatly missed by her colleagues and friends. Those close to them and those not. It didn't matter. It seemed everyone in Martin Place was feeling the pain. They brought flowers and kind thoughts.
We've been watching it on the news all night and I suppose we just felt we wanted to pay some respects to these people.
It is so sad.
Very sad. Very sad, and I think it's a day that really defines a nation and it will change us forever.
All thanks to a man who was well known to police. Man Haron Monis's radical views had put him on the radar. But yesterday he managed to slip under it when he took over the Lint Cafe with his gun and black flag. From the moment right in the middle of city centrepiece Martin Place, we wavered between hopes the siege would end peacefully and the nagging fear it could explode into a deadly finale. Hostages were forced to stand at the windows as the tormentor crept cautiously through the cafe, at times sheltering behind a human shield. There were glimmers of hope, the first hostages escaping as police seemed to make inroads with the negotiations. But then nothing for nearly 10 hours, the gunman turning out the cafe lights and then apparently drifting off to sleep. Some of the hostages saw him and they grabbed their chance. A group came out first and into the arms of police. and then a man on his own. He was spread-eagled, checked, and he was safe. Moments later, gunfire erupts inside the cafe and police push the button. This wall has now been erected, but early this morning behind it was where a hail of gunfire was unleashed, with bullets flying and stun grenades exploding, with people running for their lives. It was a scene of chaos and tragedy. It was also a scene of great courage. The police on the front line have been praised by the community, the lint company and their boss.
I think they did an outstanding job.
I too would like to commend the work of our police. While everyone might now second guess as to what's actually occurred in the last hours, well, they're the ones who had to make the decision. Our police had to actually deal with this incident. It was tough, exacting work, many hours, whether they were on a point or whether they were part of a team that had to make that entry and deal with this situation. I want to point out they have saved lives. They have saved many lives. And to those men and women, all that were involved, we thank you.
Their efforts to bring a peaceful end were ruined by the self-proclaimed sheikh. This afternoon, his body was removed from the cafe he invaded and the city he terrified.
Meanwhile, Papua New Guinea has expressed its condolences to the Sydney siege victims and their families. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has written to Australia's Prime Minister Tony Abbott, conveying the nation's sympathy following the tragic death of 2 hostages. He said PNG shares Australia's grief as the victims were in the prime of their lives and their loss is felt all around the world. Mr. O'Neill said it is at times like these that nations unite to work together for a better world that is free of such brutal acts. And that's a take on our news segment tonight. In sports, from the Hunters to the big league in Sydney, 3 new recruits join NRL clubs. We'll have all the details in True Guy Sports when we come back.
True Guy Sports.
Welcome to True Guy Sports. 3 SPPNG Hunters players have taken up contracts with NRL clubs in Australia in the new year. Wartovo Puara Jr. and Thomas Tete will take up a 6 weeks training and trial contracts, each with reigning NRL premiers South Sydney Rabbitohs. Meanwhile, 19-year-old Stanton Albert joins elder brother Wellington at the Penrith Panthers on a 2-year deal.
Their performances in the Intra Super Cup in the Queensland Rugby League competition this year caught the eyes of scouts from NRL clubs in Australia for an opportunity to play in the toughest rugby league competition in the world. PNG Rugby Football League CEO Brett Tassel was all smiles when making the announcement at a media conference in Port Moresby this morning.
I'd just like to officially announce that Wartovo Puara, over here to my right, and also Thompson Tete will be taking up 6-week train and trial contracts with South Sydney Rabbitohs. They'll head down there on the 2nd of January 2015. The Rabbitohs will then have the option to extend their contracts for the entire 2015 season. So we felt that was the best fit for Stanton as well to take up the 2-year contract with the Panthers.
He said it was an amazing effort by the Young Hunters Club to already start providing players to NRL clubs. He added the SPPNG Hunters program, which provided a pathway for its players, was the envy of many NRL clubs and coaches.
So all the boys have been briefed on the agreements. They're all very happy, all very excited about going and the opportunity that they've been given as well.
Hunters head coach Michael Marum said he was proud of the program, which the benefits are being realised, and had confidence in the 3 players to succeed in the NRL.
Just due to hard work from all the coaches, everyone else involved in the team throughout the last 18 months that we've been together. I think, and also cannot forget about the other players that have been also involved with the Hunters. I think and without their support as well, I think it wouldn't be for all this, the 3 of them here, but it's probably one of the things that we probably haven't seen over a long period of time now. It's good to see all these boys going down.
PNG Rugby Football League Chairman Sandet Saka congratulated the players and urged them to give their best and continue to make PNG proud.
Your success in Australia will mean success for the country. We have a big international program this year. These are the boys we will tap into, so the more kids we get out there, it will be great for this country.
No financial arrangements were disclosed. However, PNG RFL have organized their visas, while Sports Minister Justin Tachenko has granted 10,000 kina for each player to South Sydney to cover some of their living costs for 6 weeks. However, one clear message given to the two players heading to South Sydney was,
we don't expect for them to come back to the Hunters.
Tim, we don't want to see you back in the country.
The trio flew into Port Moresby from their Kokopo camp this morning with coach Michael Marum for the announcement and returned late this afternoon. The Hunters players currently in camp in Kokopo will go for a Christmas break on December 22nd. Puara, Tete and Albert will leave Port Moresby on January 2 for the NRL club commitments. Efata Samuel, National EMTV Sports.
And meanwhile, the three players are looking forward to joining the NRL Premier Clubs in January 2015. They spoke to EMTV after the announcement today.
I'll just give my best, focus on one day at a time, like take one thing at a time, focus on training, punctuality and everything. I'll just give my best. And I'm very excited with the opportunity that's been given.
I'm able to join my brother and play with them down there. So I maybe this was my opportunity for my life. Me and my brother, I aim to play in another club.
We got some of the best players in the world. All games opportunity to go down my match and go down to me. I'll do whatever we can, best to me or every training session. As I said, for me, trying best to me look little things right.
The 6th PNG Games shed to light some untapped talent never seen before in Papua New Guinea. One of those being decathlon athlete David Stegman. Balancing his final year in high school with his sporting commitments came to be his biggest challenge ever encountered in his 18 years of life. However, through his love and passion for sport, he persevered and now has a chance at qualifying for the 2015 Pacific Games.
From the Chimbu province and growing up in Hagen Town, David is only 18 years of age and has achieved something spectacular in a short space of time, representing his province at the 6th PNG Games for the first time ever, and now a chance at representing his country at the 2015 Pacific Games.
I'm looking forward to winning a medal for my country.
Much like many other athletes, David's journey to success didn't come easy. From balancing his education with his sporting commitments to training under very poor facilities.
Up there's no proper track or anything like that. I finished my grade 12 this year, so it was hard getting out to the field to train and doing my studies at the same time, but I did my best.
Following his achievements in late, David was selected to join the athletics training squad in camp at the NSI over the past 2 weeks and now has his eyes on the prize.
I did only 8 events in PNG in Leh for the PNG Games. That was my first time, so yeah, I competed and I came in 3rd, so they brought me up to this camp for training.
The current athletics training squad will be preparing for a number of competitions prior to the 2015 Games, the national championships as well as overseas tournaments in which David is working towards being a part of. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
The Goroka Lahanis Feeder League, the Gahuku Rugby Football League, is staging its off-season games as part of its celebrations for Christmas and, more importantly, keeping youths off the streets. 24 teams from the Goroka districts took to the Goroka National Park in a grueling showdown, attracting residents of Goroka in numbers.
The Goroka National Park always comes alive during the festive period with footy action that aren't missed by the rugby league mad people of Eastern Islands Province. So far, the Gahuku League remains the first league for the raw talents who wants to make the mark in the provincial team, the Goroka Bintago Lahanis. 24 teams have shown keen interest, including the old-timers Nagami Sharks, Geamo Bulldogs, Kafuku Spiders, Kotuni Trouts, Alamasi and Jogi Riders. But there are also threats coming from new kids on the block, Piswara Eels, Geatika Jets, including the Pacific Warriors. The match unfolded over the weekend that put the crowd in frenzy was between LMRC and Pacific Warriors. It was indeed a close encounter with 6-5 win for LMRC. The other match that took the spotlight was the Bulldogs Jets match. Garo Kalahani's big guns Spiro Mikaive and George Abba led the Bulldogs to victory at 6 points to 4. Gauku League interim president Simo Kilepa noted the importance of the competition as it helps advocate and educate youth to be a good role model in the community. The competition revived after 3 years with hopes to end in success. PNG Antas Noel Zemming, Thompson Tete and Adex Vera were the products of the Gauku League. Tere Alex, National EMTV Sports.
You're with National EMTV News. We'll have more on Trukai Sports after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. NRL star Ben Hennant brought a smile to the faces of hundreds of children at the Port Moresby General Hospital over the weekend. The former Kangaroo was in the country to promote rugby league. Hennant also took the opportunity to host a reading session at the Book Belong Life Children's Library at the hospital. This year, League for Life program has been run in 31 schools in NCD, East New Britain and Eastern Highlands Province. The program will expand to the autonomous region of Bougainville next year. Hennant has signed with the North Queensland Cowboys for the 2015 NRL season. Test cricket now overseas. India says the loss of Michael Clarke is a huge blow for Australia and could give the tourists the edge when the second test begins in Brisbane tomorrow morning. Shaun Marsh joins his brother Mitchell in the Australian team, while Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood replaced Ryan Harris and Peter Siddle.
The rookie skipper in his first full day on the job. Steve Smith, Australia's 45th Test captain, handled the team announcement like a seasoned pro, even elevating himself to number 4.
Yep, I've got a team for you. In batting order, Warner, Rogers, Watson, Smith, Shaun Marsh, Mitchell Marsh, Brad Haddon, Mitchell Johnson, Mitchell Starc, Nathan Lyon and Josh Hazlewood.
New South Wales paceman Mitchell Starc returns, while fellow Blue Josh Hazlewood will debut on the bouncy Gabba deck.
I'm just looking forward to seeing him zing a few through and bowl with that extra bit of pace and get that extra bit of bounce as well.
Peter Siddle was dropped. Quick Ryan Harris will miss his hometown test with a quad strain.
I had a run around yesterday, I barely felt it, so I thought I was on top of it, but had a bit of a run around this morning, warm up and field, and tried to bowl, and I just didn't have the power there.
Mitch Marsh will bat at 5 in place of the absent Michael Clarke. Green captain Smith has an almighty challenge tomorrow, one that the tourists returning leader MS Dhoni isn't convinced that the 25-year-old can handle.
But overall, I think with Michael not being there, that's quite a big blow for them. So to some extent, it will help us with him not being.
And our Trukai Sports ends on that note. Coming up next, the weather details. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather information is proudly brought to you by Tablebirds.
And once again, we apologise as we are not able to bring you the weather details as it was not provided by the National Weather Services. But before we go, quickly recapping our main headlines tonight. PNG and Australia decide on the future of asylum seekers. Also, multi-million Kina tidal basin to open tomorrow, and PNG's poultry industry in danger of collapsing. Well, that's been National EMTV News this Tuesday. On behalf of the news team, I'm Tokana Hasavi. Thanks for your company. You take care and stay safe. Good night.